Yummy Talk Fast 5 is brought to you with support from the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. The A&M Consumer and Retail Group is a management consulting firm that tackles the most complex challenges and advances its clients, people, and communities for their maximum potential. CRG brings the experience, tools, and operator-like pragmatism to help retailers and consumer products companies be on the right side of disruption. And Miracle, the catalyst of commerce. Over 450 retailers are opening new revenue streams with marketplaces, dropship, and retail media, and succeeding. With Miracle, unlock more products, more partners, and more profits without the heavy lifting. What's holding you back? Visit miracle.com. That's MIRAKL.com to learn more. And Simbi. Simbi powers the most retail banners in the world with today's only multimodal platform for in-store intelligence. See how Albertsons, BJ's, Spartan, Nash, and Wakefern win with AI and automation at SimbiRobotics.com. That's SIMBE robotics.com. And finally, Ocampo Capital. Ocampo Capital is a venture capital firm founded by retail executives with the aim of helping early-stage consumer businesses succeed through investment and operational support. Learn more at ocampocapital.com. Hello, you are listening to OmniTalk's Retail Fast 5, ranked in the top 10% of all podcasts globally, and currently the only retail podcast ranked in the top 100 of all business podcasts on Apple Podcasts. The Retail Fast 5 is the podcast that we hope makes you feel a little smarter, but most importantly, a little happier each week too. And the Fast 5 is just one of the many great podcasts you can find from the OmniTalk Retail Podcast Network, alongside our Retail Daily Minute, which brings you a curated selection of the most important retail headlines every morning, and our Retail Technology Spotlight series, which goes deep each week on the latest retail technology trends. Today is March 5th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Ann Mazinga.
And I'm Chris Walton.
And we are here once again to discuss all the top headlines. Discuss
whatever
all
works.
The top headlines for the past week, making waves in the world of omnichannel retailing. And Chris, we're snowed in today in Minneapolis, so I think we just need to get right to the headlines. Let's do this so we can get outside and shovel.
That's right. AKA the kids are home, man. The kids didn't have school today,
so we got
home. We got other things to do today, but we're gonna get to the podcast. We're gonna deliver a great show for all of our OmniTalk listeners.
Yes.
All right, yes, and it is that first week of the month, so it is time to hand out some hardware. And so for those new to the podcast, our OmniStar Award is the award that we give out each month in partnership with Corso to recognize the top omnichannel operators out there. Not the pundits and not the so-called experts, as we see a lot of times in social media, but the real-life retail operators making a difference in their organizations. Corso's AI Copilot coaches retail leaders to optimize store performance at every level, transform retail operations from data overload into data powered. This month's OmniStar Award goes to, and drum roll, please. Nicely done, my friend. Nicely done.
There's a roll of the tongue.
Yeah, roll that. Yeah,
drum roll.
You like rolled your R's. You're getting ready for Barcelona. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
This month's OmniStar goes to Bennett Morgan, the Chief Merchandising Officer at Spartan Nash. We met Bennett back at FMI last month, and we were really impressed. Both of us were. His background is really unique too, folks. He started as a consultant, then he went to work for HEB, and then spent a number of years with Walmart in China before moving on to Amazon Fresh, and now is the chief merchant at Spartan Nash. What struck me the most about Bennett was his belief, based on his Amazon Fresh experience too, on the intersection of people, processes, and technology. One of those things never works without the other two, and it takes an eat what you cook mentality to get all three of them right consistently. So Bennett, congratulations. You are our OmniStar for the month of March.
Yeah, what an impressive dude. I mean, well, for sure, go back to our FMI coverage. We have a whole playlist. So if you missed any of the coverage from any of our conferences that we're at almost weekly these days, definitely go back and check out the FMI interviews, Bennett being one of the most brilliant. So big congrats to Bennett. I'm excited to follow that guy. I mean, you know, he's with his pedigree, like he's already gone to some pretty incredible companies, and I'm excited to see what he continues to do with Spartan Nash and beyond, really.
Yeah, and Spartan Nash is doing really well. And I didn't realize this too, but they have robots in over 100 stores now too, and that's pretty impressive. And they're kind of a regional operation too. So kudos to them, kudos to Bennett. All right, let's do this week's Fast Five because, Ann, we've got some great headlines this week. I'm really excited about this show, actually. You know, when we were prepping it, I was kind of like, I don't know. But as we got into it, there's a lot of meat on these bones in this week's headlines. So
Always
we've
seems
got
to happen that way. Yeah.
it does, Ann. It does. Well, we try really hard to make it happen too. All right, we've got news on Alexa Plus, cool name. Said no one. Publix getting sued for allegedly overcharging for weighted items. Furniture.com's interesting take on omnichannel merchandising, and Walmart's new shoppable gaming experience. But we begin today with big news out of Target that might suggest it's getting its Target swagger back.
You must have listened to the earnings report yesterday where they said Target. That was the word du jour in that or in the earnings call yesterday. Target is all over.
I'm going to take some credit for getting them to say that based on the article that I wrote in the Star Tribune and the reception that it received. I think I deserve some credit for that. Don't you think, Ann?
You think you're solely responsible? Is this what I'm understanding for them using
No,
Target
not solely.
no less
not
than
solely
22 times in the earnings
Not
call
solely
yesterday.
responsible, but I am partially responsible for getting them to be like, yes, we need to get our swagger back. Yes, I think I'm partially, maybe like a 0.%, but I'm in there somewhere, Ann. I think
It's been noted. It's been documented. Okay. It's in the files. It's in the recording.
Yes.
Chris Walton contribution. All right. Well, let's talk about it. Let's get to headline number one.
Yeah,
Chris.
let's do it.
Target and Warby Parker are teaming up. According to Yahoo Finance, Target Corporation and Warby Parker are partnering to bring designer quality, affordable eyewear to even more consumers through the retailer's newest shop and shop, Warby Parker at Target. Each Warby Parker at Target shop and shop will offer products and services, including glasses, sunglasses, contacts, eye exams, and vision tests that are consistent with the eyewear brand's current omnichannel experience. The first 5 locations, which will be staffed by Warby Parker employees, will open in the second half of 2025. Beginning with the opening of the first shop and shop location, Warby Parker at Target will also be discoverable through Target.com. Additional shop and shops are slated to open in 2026 with the opportunity for more in the coming years. Chris, are you buying or selling the Target Warby partnership?
Interesting, Ann. I gotta tell you, I'm a little mixed on this one. I think
really
for Target, for Target and all the crap it's taken around its Target reputation, I think it's a good move. It's a no-brainer, and it definitely reestablishes that positioning, by way of the partnership. For Warby, though, Ann, I've got a lot of unanswered questions. First, let's go back and look at Warby. Let's go back and look at Warby in general, right? According to the article, Warby's been around since 2010 and currently operates 276 stores across U.S. and Canada. Okay. That means they've opened roughly 18 stores a year since they started. And that's for a concept that could literally be in every town in America. Like every town has, an eyeglass store, or for the most part, every major town does, which tells me, honestly, if I'm thinking critically about this, or at least opens a door for this thought, that they don't have their operating model down yet, because that pace is pretty slow for a business that's been in operation for 15 years, right? I mean, look at Aldi, like opening 250 stores, it's crazy. But so now they're going into Target.
Okay.
I'm sure Warby's getting a great deal, right? They're getting a smoking deal on those 5 stores because Target really needs them for all the things we've already alluded to. But the operating dynamics are going to be different. One, you're now inside of a Target, very different than what Warby knows. 2, the locations I'm guessing, having run Target stores, are going to be much smaller that, are going to afford Warby much less showroom space than the traditional stores that they're used to operating, and much less backroom space too. And 3, all that explains why only 5 have been announced yet, because Warby probably understands there's a lot that they don't know in terms of what this is going to look like, how it's going to work operationally. Can they succeed? Can they get the profit out of this partnership that they want to? But so net, I like the move. I just wonder if 5 years from now, we'll really see Warby Parker inside of Targets everywhere. And is the incremental benefit against the cost for either party really going to be that high? Because at the end of the day, and the question that I have becomes, and this is a kind of a question for the Target leadership again, too, in terms of how well are they seeing around the corners? Why isn't Target just buying Warby now before helping to make it more valuable and then losing its negotiation leverage in the long run? Why don't they just make it part of Target? like if they really see the long-term value here. So that's why I'm mixed on this. I think it's good. It gets the Target back, but I got a lot of questions in the long run. I don't think this is a slam dunk in any way, shape, or form.
I don't know. I think you have to. This is still a new partnership, and I don't know that like maybe there will be an opportunity to acquire the company if the 5 locations work, if the tests work. I actually think this is a great move for Warby because while yes, you have different, some are targets are owned, some are leased, all the buildings and things like that. You're essentially working with one landlord as Warby here for all of these Target locations, which is much easier, I would imagine, than going into a new community, a new location, a new spot every single time and having to work out those negotiations. I would like fact check you a little bit on the size of the operation. I mean, I think we've seen Warby, certainly like in Manhattan, they have a much grander, like flagship style store. But I think if you look at the Warbies around here, like their space is pretty condensed. And if you look at the Target opticals, like there's not huge back rooms at those Warbies. Like I've actually looked at the one that's closest to us.
The back room spot. Yeah.
I think space they can work with, but I'm so thrilled, Chris, because I think if you look at the headlines here and how Target is incorporating Warby, it's available on Target.com. It's available like in the stores. Like I just think this is a move from Target. It's good to see them in the news, making the right decisions about how to approach this partnership. And I do think that starting small and starting with the 5 locations is important for whatever the future of this partnership looks like. And quite frankly, I was really surprised to see that they only mentioned that once yesterday in their earnings call. And they weren't talking about this as a growth opportunity, as much as they were about Wicked last quarter when they were talking about that. Like, I think this is something that really could show some great potential for Target. And I think, brings some traffic back into them. Warby hasn't had a crazy growth trajectory, but there's still some more cachet in this brand that I think we have to take into account here. If this becomes the next Lens Crafters, Warby's lost all of its cool. So I think there's still some scarcity that has to be available to get the traffic drivers that I think Target and Warby are going to need with this partnership. But yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. What are your thoughts? I was just gonna actually have you put your money where your mouth is on that. So one of the locations is the Bloomington store, which is probably less than 2 miles from another Warby location of those 200 that we mentioned, which is right down the block from us. Both of these. Given your druthers, which one are you going into if you just need eyeglasses and an eye exam? I don't know that that's. I don't know that that's the question. I guess for me, it's like, what do I need to get done on a Saturday? I need to go get new glasses and I need to pick up essentials. So if that's the case, I'm going to the Bloomington one because I can do both. So
you're coordinating your trip around your eye appointment.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you'll still have traffic going directly to the A mall where the Warby Parker is here closest to us. But if it's a Saturday and I don't have to go across the street to go to the Target, if I go to the mall location of Warby, I can go to one spot and get them all done. Like, I think there's value there. And I think it's also exposure of new people, Target customers to this brand who maybe was like, I like Warby. I don't know much about it, but now when it's in front of them in the checkout lanes, I feel like it's going to happen. Like there's just going to be more people engaging with it, but
all right. We'll see. All right.
It's
so you
backed it up.
I like that you backed it up. Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely an early test. I just have a lot of questions operationally. The other thing is staffing. Like the Warby stores I've been in are incredibly staffed too, and so I'm wondering if that's going to work as you go into Targets in the long run. But anyway,
yeah.
But hey, hey, way to stick to your guns, Ann. I love it. Let's keep going.
All right, headline number 2, Chris. Let's roll.
Number 2, the next generation of Alexa. Alexa Plus is here. The wonderfully creative name notwithstanding, according to an Amazon blog post written by Pano Panay, hope I'm saying his name right, SVP of Devices and Services, Amazon has launched Alexa Plus, its next generation assistant powered by generative AI. Alexa Plus is more conversational, smarter, and personalized, and she helps you and get things done. Alexa Plus can manage and protect your home, make reservations, and help you track, discover, and even enjoy new artists, something I know Anne always enjoys doing. She can also help you search, find, or buy virtually any item online and make useful suggestions based on your interests. Customers will also be able to access Alexa Plus in a new mobile app that's available in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, and a new browser-based experience at alexa.com. You can start a conversation with Alexa Plus on your phone or in the car and pick it up on your computer. Alexa Plus remembers the context and can continue the conversation across any of your endpoints. Alexa Plus also, we should note, costs $19.99 per month, but all Amazon Prime members will get it for free. And this is the put you on the spot question of the week.
Oh, God.
I'm glad it's you and not me. Here it is. Quote, after a flurry of initial advertising and promise, Alexa fizzled in recent years against its touted potential. So with Alexa Plus, are you jumping on the Amazon hype train again? And if not, what are you waiting to see from the AI assistant to prove out its build usefulness?
Well, there's only room for one woman in my house, and that's me. And I don't think that I'm going to be bringing Alexa in at any given point in time. I think this is, however, I will say, I think this is an important addition to the platform and does make it relevant again. Am I getting on the hype train? No. But I think that, for me, the problem with Alexa was always like, hey, Alexa, order more dishwasher detergent. Well, if it's fine if I'm just repeating the same thing over and over again. But I think for me, it still is not a clean shopping experience. I do think now with like language-based search and how I think as a customer base, we're all going to become more accustomed to searching for things. I do think that this helps because it'll now change that one direction of order dishwasher detergent to, last time you ordered pods, do you want to get those again, or do you want to try a different kinds of detergent? Or even like, what could those dishwasher pods have done better? And what would you like me to look for? Like that can now happen, which I think brings more value to the Alexa Plus platform. Or I could ask questions like, is there a better brand for the environment or something? Like I can sit there and have a conversation and choose the right one that you couldn't do before. So I think that's where, yes, this is better Alexa Plus or Alexa 2.0, but I still have Siri on my phone to do things like this. That's with me at all points of time. I'm not doing it, but I also haven't tried it. I think to answer A&M's question, I would need to actually have one of these interactions with Alexa. So maybe I'll try it at my brother's this weekend and see what it's like. But I'm not buying it for right now. But Chris, you have an Alexa in your house. You've used it for how long have you had it? Like 10 years or something?
Since it came out. Yeah, probably close to 10 years now. I mean, I don't think it came out that long ago, but yeah, it's close. So you're kind of mixed. You're not poo-pooing it like we did before. Because when we first heard about this, we poo-pooed the hell out of it. But there's some interesting wrinkles here that I'm actually coming around on this idea. I'm saying I'm buying into the hype, but I'm of course tempered by the hype.
Is this out now? Can you try it on yours?
I think so. Yeah. So I'm gonna try. I want to try it this weekend. But it sounds like you got to get it set up too, which will be tricky.
Okay.
But the key unlock for me here, which has always been my problem with Alexa. And I also think it's important in terms of the future of generative AI, is the visual interface that we're all going to be using to validate the work that's being done. So like for me, like the hang up I have, like if I want to ask Alexa to make a reservation, how do I validate that it's been done correctly? And I think the way they're talking about this, like you can go on the website, you can talk to the device, you can look on your mobile phone. It's trying to create that ecosystem for how we're going to act with generative AI. And let's not forget, Amazon's also very much yoked to Anthropic, which is one of the leading generative AI providers here. So they want to figure this out and are as equipped as anyone to figure it out. So that's the thing I think that gets me excited about it, and especially trying it. Like if I can start to be like, hey, Alexa, give me some options for reservation. What tables are available at 6 p.m. on Saturday for this type of food? And present it to me in a way where I can digest it and still make a decision. Because you're right. If it's just like me telling it, that's different than like being involved in a discussion that is helpful
Right.
and useful and
two-way.
makes me get the answer I want, right? Yes, which usually you're doing through searching through 1,000 different things on your phone or on your laptop. So that's why I like this a little bit, and I don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think there's still. I think the proof's still in the pudding for me. Like I still
Devil's
need
in the
to
details,
see.
right?
Yeah, I still think we need to see like how this is actually working to determine whether or not this is something that's going to like get more people to buy an Alexa device. Like at the end of the day, that's what they're trying to do here. And I don't know that. I mean, I think this is something that had to be done, not something that's like this incremental idea that they have come up with, and it's going to like bring in all this new revenue for Amazon. But I have to try it, Chris, and you'll have to report back.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too, we got to always remind people too, and remind ourselves, we're in year 2 of generative AI, right? And we don't know like what's the voice implication of usage of generative AI too, because the one thing that is nice about Alexa, I can just be like, Alexa, set an alarm. Alexa, what's the weather outside? And so can I extend that into the generative AI arena very easily? I don't know. That's it.
But you can also. My problem again is like I can do that on my phone, and my phone is always with me. Doesn't require another device. I could probably now, because I'm a Prime member, I imagine it sounds like I can download an app and have the same capability. Do I need that? I don't know. Like, is it going to drive incremental growth for Amazon? Maybe. We'll see. I think it gets back to we're only in year 2.
Well, it's the battle of the tech providers, right? That's essentially what you're saying here. Is it going to be Apple? Is it going to be Google? Is it going to be Amazon with their, relationship with Anthropic? Who knows? But yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Right. All right, Chris, let's move on to headline number 3, talking about another battle between Florida shoppers at Publix and Publix. Publix is being sued for allegedly overcharging, Chris, for weighted items. According to Grocery Dive, Publix is facing a class action lawsuit alleging the grocer overcharged consumers for certain on-sale foods sold by weight, such as meats, cheeses, and deli items. The grocer's point of sale system allegedly altered the weights of sale items to weigh more than they actually did, according to the complaint filed February 19th in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida by one of somebody, definitely a grandfather or grandmother of one of the listeners of this podcast. It could have been mine. I definitely can see them going and complaining about the weight and their receipt. So let's keep going into this. The complaint notes, for example, that the plaintiff purchased 2.83 pounds of pork tenderloins that were $2 off with a sale price of $4.99 per pound. Publix point of sale system showed that the item weighed 3.96 pounds with the $4.99 sale price, resulting in the plaintiff being charged $19.78, a 40% overcharge, or $5.66 more than the advertised price. The lawsuit also alleges that Publix regularly displays signs for expired sales in stores and displays incorrect pricing per unit shelf stickers for baby formula. Chris, as a former store manager, what's your assessment of the lawsuit Publix faces over its pricing practices?
Wow. Well, I kind of used this expression already once in this podcast, but I'm going to go back to the well end. There's a lot of meat on this bone, figurative and literally.
Yes.
First you have to ask the question, like, is Publix being deliberately misleading here, or is it a function of their process?
Yeah.
My hope is that it's definitely the latter, because if it's the former, like, whoa, look out, Ed, we've got a big story here. But I think you have to assume there's a gap in the process. There's some gap in the process of tagging meat and other fresh goods on markdown. My hunch is whoever was tagging it, like, just reprinted the sticker from the previous one he or she tagged and slapped it on this pork tenderloin, this aforementioned pork tenderloin, which is a fun phrase to say. So these processes are oftentimes in the fresh meats and produce areas are oftentimes manual. So I can see why there's errors, but a customer should never be charged 40% more than they expect.
No.
That's not something you want as a retailer. So the other part about the expired signs, I mean, I've been railing against that for years. I mean, it's happening. It happens to every retailer out there. Yeah. We talked about it on our podcast with Revionics to some degree. And it's one of the reasons I like electronic shelf labels, because in theory, they should always update to the most current price. So you never have an old, outdated promo sign on a product that they're not getting credit for at the register. But with that said, electronic shelf labels don't solve the problem that's discussed here with fresh meat. That's likely still a process problem, pure and simple. And so, Publix has to dig in and understand where's the gaps and how do you improve it.
And there are solutions out there that can help with this. I think it's just figuring out what are the right ones that can help you eliminate these problem areas of the process that can ensure price transparency for the consumers and for the retailer, and then maybe even free up the process part of what people are having to accomplish in one day so that these types of things aren't happening.
It just shows you that why there's so much energy around fresh food, because if you can combine, like we said, like Bennett, we talked about Bennett, combine the processes, the technology, and the people to figure this out, there's a lot of money to be found here, and better customer service and better customer experience at the end of the day as well.
Right.
Headline number 4, a new digital furniture platform wants to be an omnichannel one-stop shop for customers. According to Chain Store Age, by seamlessly integrating store location and inventory data within its search engine, Furniture.com intends to enable customers to explore, test, and purchase furniture items either digitally or in person. Rooms to Go, one of the nation's largest furniture retailers, both backs and participates on the Furniture.com platform. Furniture.com's retailer partnerships also include chains such as Bloomingdale's and American Signature Furniture. And as someone currently in the market for home furnishings, or at least I think you're still in the market for home furnishings, or aren't we always in the market for home furnishings?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right? Why not? Does what Furniture.com is, maybe not with all the tariffs, does what Furniture.com is trying to do intrigue you?
Yeah, it does, because I think it gets back to how we're searching and discovering this again. Like, I'm not going to roomandboard.com or to roomstogo.com to look for furniture. That's just not how it's happening. I'm getting inspired by following, Ray Design, which is one of my favorite interior design posts. And every Monday she does a look for less. So I see a Restoration Hardware chair, and then she posts a West Elm chair that's hundreds of dollars less. And if I can, in that moment, click the button to search that particular item and see, like, there's one at the West Elm. This chair is at this West Elm that's 10 miles away from you. If you go there now and you go sit on it and try it, like the article is saying, like, if it works, I'm buying that chair. I'm leaving that day with that chair. But I'm only able to do that if I know, like, I'm only able to, like, get that motivation to get up and go when I have this information directly available to me. So I think that's one case. The other example is, again, it's Lens. Like, I think so many people now are using Lens as a way to, see something online or see something like in a furniture store when they're out on a Saturday doing furniture shopping and see, like, who else has this? Where else can I get it? And to be able to say, at that point in time, you can go to this retailer this many miles away. It's there. Like, I think you definitely see increase in basket size and that intent that's completely shifted when you've invested in what Furniture.com is talking about doing here. But that's me and my, party of one shopping experience. Like, what is your opinion, Chris, from being in this business in furniture and home furnishings for so long? Especially from an omnichannel perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think the concept's really intriguing. I was on the site yesterday. And the best way I could describe it, it looked to me like a hybrid of, like, search advertising. Like, it kind of felt like Retail Me, not circa 10 or 15 years ago, but combined with, like, it's kind of like a mashup between that and a third-party marketplace for brands that want to sell through it, right? But this idea that they're inherently getting at it's a new wrinkle, because it essentially creates, like you're saying, a third-party marketplace that shows you the availability of products for in-store pickup or in-person browsing, which is still a key factor in determining your home furnishings purchases. And like you said, whether you use a Google Lens or you're searching for an item with very specific specifications, like I can remember when I was furnishing my house, I wanted a yellow rug. So I was like, 8x10 yellow rugs, show me everything you got. But it's limited in the universe of what that site carries. I think I was on Wayfair at the time. But now you get all the extended brands here too, which I don't know of anyone else trying to do that. But there are some big questions. There's some big matzo balls with whether or not this concept can work. Like, one, it sounds like they've got some big brands already, but how many brands are going to sign on to it? And then will consumers actually, go there to use it, which I think they will at the end of the day, based on hearing you describe it, because that's exactly from my experience of home furnishings, how people want to shop. So I think that's actually easy. But then who else will start to do this? That's the big question, Dan, is like, furniture.com is the first one maybe to this party, but, does Wayfair start to do it? Does Walmart start to do it? Or does, this become some kind of co-op play with the smaller furniture brands to defend themselves against Wayfair and Walmart? I could see them wanting to do that. The last place I'd be listing my products is on Wayfair or Walmart or Target or some big national, brand third-party marketplace. So I think this plays in really nicely for that reason too. So I think it's really interesting. I applaud the audacity. I mean, it's a really audacious concept that, I don't know, it's catching both of us, in a way that, we haven't seen. When was the last time we talked about a new retail concept where we're like, oh yeah, that's different. Know. That's got a hook. That's got a hook that could last.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this is something that's new that's happening. I do think your points are dead on though. Like, and even, how do we look at the other search players out here? Like, how does Google respond to this? And does Google start to categorize it's now Google Furniture or it's Google Beauty or whatever? Like, there's so many competitors that could get in and around this space. So it will be interesting to see like the moats that furniture.com can set up, and the partners that I think it'll really come down to the partners, like you said, that they can bring in.
Well, and the other interesting point about this too, which, we're on the advisory board for Lucky, the article mentioned Lucky as a similar, idea to do this, to tell you what inventory is available in store. But the funny thing about this, which is why I love what we do, is Lucky's a completely different type of thing in a lot of ways. That's about, making sure your advertising is you can see if the product you want, where it's available through your advertising, because they're synced with the inventory feeds. Same idea in principle, but a very, very different execution. But it shows you that getting the inventory visibility to where things are in a physical location is going to be key here as things evolve. And kudos to us. We've been on that for a while. I think we've been hooked up with Lucky now for over 2 years. So,
right.
We've seen the evolution going in this way, but this is cool that furniture.com is doing this.
All right, Chris, let's go to headline number 5. Another new shopping concept that I'm curious to get your opinion on. Headline number 5.
Yes, right.
Walmart has released Walmart Unlimited, a shoppable gamified miniseries. According to Chain Store Age, Walmart has launched an immersive in-game commerce experience called Walmart Unlimited in partnership with 3D gamified media platform Spatial and the Unity real-time 3D development environment. For the first time ever on Spatial, players in the 3-episode Walmart Unlimited gamified miniseries can purchase real-world goods inside of a virtual experience. Each Walmart Unlimited episode takes players on a multi-level journey to play, discover, and support products created by Walmart suppliers. After playing, users can explore the immersive commerce hub and purchase products from suppliers. Chris, what do you think of Walmart's new shoppable video game experience, Walmart Unlimited?
Get ready for this one, Ann.
Oh, God.
Unlimited.
Is this from a movie or something?
It's from Wicked.
Oh.
Unlimitedly a waste of money. That's what I think it is. And it's unlimitedly a waste of money. I just keep going back to the same 2 ideas that I'll say over and over again on the show, or really the first one, which is how do you get traffic to it? The experience was incredibly hard to find. I tried to find it last night. No one's going to this experience. Like, there's just no way. And second, as David Ritter said in our year-end podcast, are you really going to get people to buy items from these virtual game experiences from Walmart? I'm skeptical of that. So, and if Walmart, if you want to get into video game production as an extension of retail media, which is really like what, video games are all about at this stage, like, okay, do it, but buy a gaming platform for that purpose. Stop screwing around with these silly gimmicky things. I mean, generally I love 99% of the innovations Walmart, puts out in the market, but this in Walmart realm, they just seem so misguided to me. And I hope, Ann, here's the last point I make. I hope that these are just the last vestiges of like the metaverse hype. Like, we're going to stop seeing this. Like, that's what I hope. But I know you've been bought into these before, but I'm curious to see, like, where's your head now? And did you go and try and use it? Because, no one's going to the Spatial site to play this game. Like, how are they doing that? Like, I even watched a YouTube video and it doesn't even have a link to the site. Like, I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was really digging. I like talked to my two kids who are almost 8 and 14 last night, and I was like,
Yep.
are you on spatial? Like, tell me where I'm getting this wrong or where the opportunity lies that I just am not understanding. They know Roblox. I think Walmart participating in the Roblox
Yeah.
environment, that makes more sense to me. Like you said, like it's already got the traffic. People are already there, and this might be a
Yep.
cool thing. And probably is a way to get some new customers who maybe wouldn't have shopped at Walmart even aware of the Walmart brand. So that's fine. But I think there are much better ways to do this. And like I would go back to what Denise and Candela was talking about from Walmart last week when we interviewed her, how they're, they see an opportunity where they're going to start doing pop-ups and experiences around New York Fashion Week to, draw in that new shopper who's in this case a higher income shopper, where they're going to see more traction from these types of activities than inside of obscure video game platform. So to me, it seems like this was somebody that wanted to play around with an experiment, and it's probably, my guess would be that this is where that experiment ends, and ends probably relatively soon, knowing how quick Walmart is to pull things that aren't showing a return on investment.
Got it. So this falls under the bucket of not every experiment is a good experiment for you. Is that right?
I don't know. I'm not the creative side of me, and again, like I don't know this. I don't have enough experience in these
Yeah.
platforms. Like someone had to make the business case for going forward with this experiment. I think for me it's really about how quickly do you shut down the experiment versus whether you did the experiment at all. Like how quickly do you get your proof points and say like, yeah, we're better off finding other ways to attract new customers.
Yeah, as you're talking about this, I kind of wonder if this is like the continuation of the spatial contract and somebody just didn't, just have the guts to be like, let's pull this thing now, but maybe
Right.
they will, I don't,
Right.
that's kind of what I'm thinking as you're talking out and thinking out loud. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Let's close up the show.
All right, let's go to the lightning round. Question one, Chris. A viral trend on TikTok dubbed the airport theory suggests arriving at the airport just 15 minutes before your flight to clear security, which I know would basically give you a heart attack. This concept has taken off online, racking up 400 million views, and unsurprisingly, it's already led to plenty of missed flights. Chris, what do you feel is the appropriate amount of time to arrive at the airport before a flight?
I'm curious why you're asking me this question, because I know who you traveled with this past week. And then also, I think it would also potentially give you a heart attack to show up 15 minutes early before your flight
15
too,
minutes is not, that's like not okay. I could not do this, but
No.
I think I have a higher level of comfort with going a little bit closer to the departure time. But what is what is your recommended airport arrival time?
Minimum 2 hours, Ann. Minimum 2 hours.
Okay.
You eradicate virtually all risks that can be presented to you if you leave 2 hours, because you can you eliminate the traffic risk, the security line risk, and worst case scenario, you relax, you have a beer, you get some work done. Particularly if you're a Delta Sky Lounge member, like that's always a big plus. I'm surprised, Ann, you love Delta Sky Lounge so much. I'm surprised you're not there 5 hours early. Oh, they only let you get in 3 hours early now, right? So
Yeah.
So that's my take. But what's your legitimate time where you feel comfortable? I'm curious.
I would say like as long as I have an hour before the flight leaves, I'm good.
In an hour. Okay. All right. So you leave your house like an hour and 15 minutes before the flight takes off. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I want to be at the airport no less than or with an hour before my flight takes off. It gives me enough time to go to security and basically walk right on the plane. So that
would stress me the F out. I'm never doing that. I'm never leaving an hour because the traffic would just drive me mental. All right. Domino's on Monday announced that customers can now order cheese-filled crust at all locations in the U.S., joining the ranks of pizza chains that already offer it. And where do you stand on stuffing your pizza crust?
Oh my God, I love it so much. My body does not tolerate cheese stuffed crust pizza and the cheese on the pizza. I will not be feeling well after, but oh my God. I remember when this came out when I was in grade school, the first time stuffed crust. Oh my God. I loved it all the time. It made me sick, but it was so good. So delicious. But what about you? Where do you find stuffed crust?
I'm not a stuffed crust guy. No, never have been.
As long as it's cooked all the way. Like that's the other thing too. When you just get like a mozzarella cheese stick that's like still solid in your crust, no. But if it's like melted properly, ooh.
Yeah. Too much room for error, and pizza's already great. Like pizza's already awesome. I don't need pizza to be made more awesome. You know, that's how I look at it.
Oh my God. All right. Question number 3. After releasing its first capsule collection in larger sizes for the holidays, Limited 2 is rolling out more clothing for adults in an effort to capture millennial nostalgia. Chris, what store from your youth would have to come back to take advantage of your Gen X nostalgia?
Oh God, that's really hard. Like I can't think of any stores that I really miss that much, you know?
Like
honestly,
Structure or like Hot Topic or anything? No.
Not. I mean, Tower Records maybe just because it'd be cool to see one again, but I can't think of anyone.
That's a good one.
Do you have one? I mean, I can't honestly. I was racking my brain. I can't think of anything.
I mean, Delia's
like Structure. Like, come on. Like I really need Structure back in my life, and that's the first one you came up with. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's a fun flashback.
I need a Hot Topic. I'm racing over to the Hot Topic today.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even wait in line for that. You know.
My gosh.
Delia's?
I would.
Oh
Delia's. If Delia's opened a store. I mean, I've been getting served up those Instagram ads of like the Delia's prom dresses and like some of the outfits, and I'm loving every minute of it. It's so ridiculous.
Oh my God. All right. Well, last one. This one's a fun one. IHOP gave away free pancakes yesterday for National Pancake Day. What is your favorite type of pancake? And blueberry, chocolate chip, red velvet? Do tell.
I am a pancake purist. I just want very thin.
I knew you were going to go that direction.
Pancakes. Very thin. Like I want them to be thin and kind of doughy and like not really the thick. Like I don't like the big thick pancakes. Very thin.
Like the thin German pancake kind of thing?
Not like a crepe.
No.
Not like a crepe.
Oh.
Crepe? That's how you say it. Not like that thin, but like the thinnest of what could technically still be considered a pancake. That's what I want.
Got it. Okay, nice.
What is yours? Now I'm curious.
Oh, what's mine? Mine's chocolate chip. I got to go with chocolate chip. I love a good
too much. It's too much sugar with like you put in with all the maple syrup on it and stuff too.
No, I can go without maple syrup, but yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But I figured you were a pancake purist with good alliteration to end the show.
Yes, I am a pancake purist.
Doesn't surprise me one bit. All right, happy birthday today to Eva Mendez, Matt Lucas, and to the woman who will always be known to me as the first Mrs. George Clooney. Yeah, fun fact, folks. The wonderful and beautiful Talia Balsam. And remember, if you can only read or listen to one retail blog in the business, make it OmniTalk, the only retail media outlet run by 2 former executives from a current top 10 U.S. retailer. Our Fast 5 podcast is the quickest, fastest rundown of all the week's top news, and our daily newsletter tells you everything you need to know each day to stay on top of your game as a retail executive, and also regularly features special content that is exclusive to us and that Anna and I take a lot of pride in doing just for you. And for those that may not be familiar, it is called the Retail Daily Minute, because I forgot to say that before. Thanks as always for listening in. Please remember to like and leave us a review wherever you happen to listen to your podcast or on YouTube. You can follow us today by simply going to youtube.com/OmniTalkRetail. So until next week, on behalf of all of us at OmniTalk, be careful out there.